The camera finds Lizzy at her bedroom window in Ashford Manor. Elegant, suffocating, unchanged since childhood. On her dresser, an engraved invitation to a luncheon where Lord Petton will coincidentally be attending. Again, she turns it face down. Her mother's voice drifts upstairs, fluid and sharp as a blade. Lady Ashford rehearses the engagement announcement to the housekeeper, as though practice makes it real. Downstairs, Lord Petton's car pulls into the drive. Early, because men like him consider punctuality a form of possession. Lizzy puts on her white floral dress, the one she was told to wear to look approachable for Petton's benefit, picks up her white roses, and walks out the front door. Not running, walking. Head high, Lady Ashford calls after her. Lizzy does not look back. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. St. Clement's Church is 3 blocks from Ashford Manor. Lizzy has never entered it voluntarily. Today, she slips through the side garden gate just as a military vehicle pulls away, leaving one man behind. He is tall, dressed in a formal teal military dress uniform that speaks of rank even through its restrained lines. One arm is supported by a crisp white sling. He adjusts his collar one-handed with the focused precision of a man who refuses to let an injury inconvenience him. His jaw is clean. His posture is immaculate. His eyes, when they flick briefly to Lizzy, are the exact gray-blue of winter morning water. She stops walking. He glances at her, looks away, continues adjusting his collar. "Excuse me," Lizzy says. Her voice comes out perfectly steady, which surprises even her. "Are you married?" He turns, studies her with the careful patience of someone accustomed to assessing situations before responding. "No," he says. "Would you like to be?" A beat, a long one. "You're serious," he says. "It is not a question." Completely. She lifts her chin. "I need to be married. Today, ideally, to someone my mother will find entirely unsuitable. You're in uniform with your arm in a sling. You'll do perfectly." The soldier, James Alexander Mackenzie, though she doesn't know that yet, looks at her white dress, her white roses, and the slightly wild light in her eyes. Then he does something she doesn't expect. He almost smiles. He looked like a man who had survived worse proposals than this one. James spends exactly 7 minutes trying to talk her out of it. He is methodical about it, logical, unhurried, thorough. He explains that marriage is a legal contract with significant consequences, that she is acting in haste, that there are other ways to. "Are there?" Lizzy asks. He stops, looks at her properly for the first time, and he sees it, not recklessness, but a controlled desperation of someone who has calculated every available option and found every door locked except this one. "Tell me what you're running from," he says quietly. "An arranged marriage to a man who looks at me the way he looks at his financial portfolio." She pauses. "You." A silence. Then, something like that. They are married 2 hours later. A civil ceremony. 2 witnesses borrowed from the church office. A simple silver band James insists on paying for himself, which surprises her more than anything else about him. That evening, Lizzy writes to her mother. She keeps it brief. She is married. His name is James Mackenzie. She is well. She does not require rescuing. Lady Ashford's response arrives by morning. 3 pages, single-spaced, alternating between fury, grief, and the weaponized disappointment of a woman who had planned everything. Lizzy reads at once, sets it down. For the first time in longer than she could remember, she exhaled. They live in a modest, well-ordered flat that tells its story in restraint. No clutter, no photographs. Everything in its precise place. The home of someone who learned not to accumulate things they might have to leave. Lizzy, who has never boiled a kettle without instruction, burns the first 3 attempts at making tea. James watches from across the kitchen, without comment. On the 4th attempt, when she finally gets it right, She sets a cup in front of him without fanfare. He wraps his good hand around it. "Thank you," he says. 2 words. But the way he says them, like something that costs him, makes her look at him differently. They navigate the flat like careful strangers. She takes the left side of the table. He takes the right. They eat with the television on because silence, at first, feels like something that needs filling. But slowly, over days that blur into something almost domestic, the silence changes texture. It becomes less gap and more presence. He has nightmares. She hears him once, around 3 a.m., moving through the flat with the controlled quiet of someone who doesn't want to wake anyone. She doesn't ask. He doesn't explain. In the morning, he makes her coffee before she is out of bed. She begins to notice things. How he always sits with his back to the wall. How he folds his uniform jacket the same precise way. Every single time. How he laughs, rarely but completely, when she says something cutting about Lord Petton. He was a man built to withstand things. She was starting to wonder what had needed withstanding. It happens on a Tuesday, which seems wrong for a revelation of this magnitude. A formal envelope arrives. Heavy cream paper. An embossed seal Lizzy recognizes immediately. She grew up in rooms full of exactly this kind of correspondence. It is the kind of letter that carries the weight of old money, old names, and old obligations that never expire. James holds it for a long moment without opening it. His jaw tightens almost imperceptibly. "James," Lizzy says carefully, "what is that?" He sets it on the table between them. She reads the name on the front, then reads it again. "James Alexander Mackenzie," she says slowly. "The Honorable—" "Don't," he says. Quiet, flat, but she already knows. She grew up memorizing these names, these lineages, these crests. The seal on the envelope is unmistakable. One of the oldest, most decorated military families in the nation. His rank, she suddenly understands, has nothing to do with a sling, and everything to do with blood. "You're not just a soldier," she says. "Or you are, but you're also—" "I'm the man you married," he says. "That part hasn't changed. The part where you apparently outrank my mother certainly has." Something flickers in his expression. "Are you angry?" Lizzy looks at the envelope, looks at him, thinks about her mother's face when she finds out, and a laugh escapes her. Startled and genuine. "I married a wounded soldier to escape the aristocracy," she says, "and I accidentally married deeper into it." The irony was so complete, so perfectly constructed, that she almost suspected the universe of having a plan. They could go back. That is a thing neither of them says aloud for several days. Then James says it plainly, the way he says most things. We could return to our respective lives. The marriage can be annulled. No one needs to know the full extent of. "No," Lizzy says. He waits. "I don't want an annulment." She meets his eyes. "Do you?" One of his long, measuring silences. Then, "No." It is not a declaration. It is better than that. It is a choice. Deliberate, clear-eyed, made by 2 people who have seen enough of the world to know the difference between obligation and want. Lady Ashford arrives in person 2 weeks later. The confrontation is everything Lizzy expected and nothing she can't handle. Because James stands beside her, not in front, not behind, not directing, beside her, a quiet and immovable presence. Something about his stillness makes Lady Ashford's armor crack, just slightly. Afterward, when her mother is gone and the flat is quiet again, Lizzy finds herself reorganizing the kitchen shelves she reorganized 3 days ago. James leans in the doorway, watching her. "She'll come around," he says. "She won't." "She might." A pause. Then, softly, "Lizzy." She turns. He is looking at her the way he has begun to look at her, with the focused, unhurried attention of a man who has decided something important and sees no reason to be rushed about it. She had married a stranger to escape a cage. Somehow, impossibly, she had stumbled into a home. 3 months after the day Elizabeth Ashford walked out her mother's house in a white dress and white lies, she stood in the same flat, reorganizing nothing, just standing, looking. The morning light came through the window the way it always did now, falling across James's uniform jacket folded on the chair, across the 2 coffee cups on the counter. his already rinsed, hers still steaming, across the small, ordinary, extraordinary life that had grown up around her without her permission. She hadn't planned this. She had planned an escape. She had planned a scandal. She had planned to burn everything down so thoroughly that nothing could be rebuilt. She had not planned him. James appeared in the doorway, watching her the way he had learned to watch her, steadily, without demand. He had a letter in his hand. Another formal envelope. She raised an eyebrow. "My full reinstatement," he said, "and an official invitation to resume my title. Publicly." Lizzy was quiet for a moment. "And what did you tell them?" The corner of his mouth moved. That almost smile she had catalogued, memorized, and kept. "I told them I consult my wife." She crossed the room, took the letter, set it on the counter next to her coffee. "We'll think about it," she said. He looked at her. She looked back. And for two people who had each spent years running from everything they were supposed to be, that was enough. That was everything. The door to Ashford Manor had closed behind her. A different door, theirs, had opened. Team Lady Ashford or Team Lizzy? Be honest. Was her mother completely wrong? James knew exactly who he was from day one. So, why do you think he said yes to a stranger's proposal? Have you ever done something impulsive that accidentally turned out to be the best decision of your life? Tell Mr. Bryan tales in the comments. If you were Lizzy, would you have opened that envelope or left it sealed forever? Share this with someone who married the wrong person for the right reasons, or the right person for the wrong reasons. You know who they are. See you in the next one. One love, Mr. Bryan Tales Cares.